The first container of highly radioactive spent nuclear fuel has been successfully transferred to a safer pool at the Fukushima Daiichi facility. The nuclear plant operator says it is the first such procedure involving spent fuel since the 2011 accident. Workers with Tokyo Electric Power Company began moving less dangerous unused fuel rods in the middle of November. The nuclear fuel rods are being removed from the damaged storage pool at the number 4 reactor building. On Saturday, workers transferred a container of 22 highly radioactive spent fuel assemblies from the reactor building to a safer storage pool in a nearby facility. The fuel was then placed into an underwater holding rack. TEPCO officials say the transfer was completed without incident. They plan to relocate about 1,500 fuel assemblies in the number 4 reactor building by the end of next year. It will be a key step for decommissioning the crippled nuclear power plant. Workers will then start removing fuel assemblies from 3 other reactor buildings.
On November 18, 2013, TEPCO started to remove fuel from the Unit 4 spent fuel pool at Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station. During this, fuel stored in the spent fuel pool is placed inside a transportation cask and then transported to the common pool. TEPCO is ensuring that the utmost attention is paid to the safety of the people and any possible impact on the surrounding environment. TEPCO has taken a significant step forward in its work to decommission the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, which will require 30 to 40 years to complete. First, the cask in which the fuel is to be transported is lowered into the spent fuel pool. Next, a newly installed fuel handling machine carefully lifts up fuel assemblies one by one at a speed of approximately 1 centimeter per second and loads them into the cask. It is possible that small pieces of debris have become trapped between the fuel and the rack. Therefore, we conduct the work carefully, watching and confirming each stage via an underwater camera and a measuring instrument. The fuel loading takes place underwater where radiation is shielded. Therefore, the radiation dose around the work area does not increase. The fuel handling machine is equipped with a sensor which automatically stops the machine when an abnormal weight is detected. We will continue the work with full attention paid to safety. The cask, loaded with 22 fuel assemblies, is lowered with a crane to a trailer on the ground. The wire structure for lowering the cask employs double wires and is capable of raising and lowering the cask using only one wire. Therefore, even in the unlikely event that one of the wires breaks, the cask will not fall. The cask is transported to another building and the fuel taken out to be stored in the common pool. We have conducted this operation 1,200 times previously and therefore have ample experience. Furthermore, the operators were fully prepared and trained for this operation, for example, by participating in a special program on using the fuel handling machine and the crane. In addition, we have received confirmation on the operation from Mr. Lake Barrett, an outside expert and a former U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission official, and from other international third parties. We will conduct this operation safely and steadily. The transfer of all 1,533 fuel assemblies is scheduled for completion by the end of 2014.
A government panel is urging additional efforts to control radioactive wastewater accumulating at the damaged Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. Drastic measures were announced by the government in September. This included freezing the soil around the reactor buildings to prevent groundwater from seeping in. Panel members on Tuesday called for quickly setting up 5 backup measures. These would involve building large storage tanks with double outer walls, also sealing cracks and holes in pipes with concrete. Panel members said paving the ground with asphalt would prevent rainwater from seeping in. They said measures to surround the wall of frozen soil with another wall was put off for later.
And on this Tuesday are reporting that the level of radiation detected in an observation well at the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant has soared to an all-time high. Plant operator TEPCO said that 1.1 million becquerels of beta ray-emitting radioactive material had been detected per liter in water samples taken on November 28th. The figure is 36,000 times higher than the normal level of 30 becquerels per liter and is more than the previous record high of 910,000 becquerels per liter detected on November.
Japanese Prime Minister Abe has been trying to rally support for a bill that would let the government designate state secrets. Lower house members approved the bill last week. Abe wants upper house members to endorse it by Friday when the current Diet session ends. Abe spoke at a meeting of ministers and members of the ruling coalition parties. He acknowledged that the bill has drawn criticism, but said he'd work to win people's support.
My administration will continue to provide detailed explanations to help ease public concern over the proposed legislation.
The bill would designate some information as state secrets. People leaking such information would face up to 10 years in prison. Some Japanese citizens are worried about what the secrecy bill could mean. Protesters on Monday lit up the Tokyo night with candles in a rally for free speech. Lawyers, journalists, and other concerned citizens gathered outside the Diet building. Organizers say about 1,300 people took part. A senior member of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party caused controversy earlier in the day. He used his blog to compare noisy demonstrators to terrorists. Rally organizer Yuichi Kaido defended his companions from accusations of terrorism.
We are only citizens exercising the right to free speech to say no to the bill.
The bill doesn't clarify what will be considered a state secret and what will be a crime.
The protesters say they'll fight against the secrecy bill for as long as necessary.
For negotiating the Trans-Pacific Partnership Free Trade Pact has fallen ill. Akira Amari was striving to seal a deal by year-end, but officials say he's likely to stay in hospital for a few days. The Economic Revitalization Minister Amari felt unwell on Monday at a crucial juncture for the talks. Amari met U.S. Trade Representative Michael Froman on Sunday. Some government officials said they're worried Amari's absence could impact the free trade talks. Amari is also in charge of new economic measures leaders hope to finalize this week. But Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga said the trade negotiations will stay their course. He said Amari will give instructions from hospital. Ministers regroup in Singapore on Saturday for more TPP talks. Officials will decide if Amari attends pending more information about his condition.
In the loss of a young Japanese boy to cancer, the fight to find a cure continues. In the community of Osaka, friends and family came together to both raise awareness and honor his wishes. It's called the Relay for Life, a global fundraiser for cancer research, and in Osaka, it's where those living with the disease and those who have lost loved ones walked step by step with each other, united.
勢いよくスタートください。
Cancer patients and their supporters set up Relay for Life Osaka at a local high school. Some 2,300 people gathered for the event. To raise money, they walked around the school's 200-meter athletics track for 24 hours. A boy named Suzunosuke Kubota initiated the event. He was studying at this high school. But in January, he died of cancer. His parents and friends honored his wishes by realizing Relay for Life. Kentaro Tachiri was one of Suzunosuke's friends. He is in his third year of junior high. Kentaro was also diagnosed with cancer when he was in elementary school. He once recovered. But cancer was again detected in his right leg. Ever since, Kentaro has been in and out of hospital. Anti-cancer agents slow the advance of the illness. At the hospital, he roomed with Suzunosuke. Kentaro called his older friend Suzu-kun.
I really wanted to have an older brother like him. As I gazed at his face after he died, I was so stricken with grief that I couldn't stop my tears.
The day of Relay for Life, Osaka. Suzunosuke's mother gave Kentaro a pep talk.
Do your best for Suzu-kun too.
Kentaro started walking. By now, he had been on the move for 5 hours. Taking occasional breaks, he was able to carry on for 10 laps. At nightfall, the participants took part in a ceremony to honor people who have died of cancer. At the request of Suzunosuke's mother, Kentaro performed a piano piece. It was a tune he and his friend enjoyed listening to in their hospital room.
It was really beautiful. Suzu-kun was there.
I think it's Suzu-kun who brought so many supporters here. I'm thankful to everybody, but most of my thanks go to my dear friend Suzu-kun. I want to do anything I can to help other patients, even just a little bit.
Kentaro says he wants to become a pediatrician to help child cancer patients. Suzunosuke's parents say they will repeat the relay next year to support people living with the disease.